WEF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out bright future, we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more rivers, reactions, fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Big up everyone and welcome to another Transfer Weekly. This episode is Transfer Weekly episode 4. Now we'll be discussing some players that there might be some loose speculation about and also players that may have some concrete rumours towards it. As always, we also look at the comment section and we pick a player that you recommend that we should actually discuss, and that's what we've done as well again this week. So please, if you want us to discuss a player in future Transfer Weeklies, put their names in the comment section below and we'll definitely look to share information about that player during the transfer window. Apart from that, smash the like button as always, subscribe if you're new, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Let's get into it.
Hello everyone, and I hope you're enjoying Transfer Weekly this week. I've been given Matias Fernandez to cover. I'm sure everyone can guess why that may be. If you don't know who he is, he joined us from Flamengo nearly 2 years ago now. Hasn't made as many minutes as people maybe would have liked him to. He came to quite a lot of fanfare. He was given the number 11 after Wilf left. Big boots to fill. And he hasn't made many minutes because of injuries, rumours of him being homesick. And arguably, he needs to adapt to the league as well. Some say maybe he's not good enough. Personally, I think he is good enough, but I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. So if you don't know who he is again, he plays across the front line, not so much a striker, but very much can play in both attacking midfielder roles in our Oliver Glasner system. At Flamengo, he played on the left and the right as well, so he is used to being in those positions. In terms of the loan, do I think it's a good idea? I've got a list of pros and cons in terms of how effective I think that would be. I think I'm going to start with the cons first. So for me personally, one con is that I think he is good enough to be a backup, provided he does get new boots, because he does seem to slip around a lot in those boots. But if he can sort that out, I think he's very direct. I think there's maybe he could do better out of possession, perhaps, but I think that's his age. He is only 21. He turned 21 2 months ago. And obviously, assuming we are going to play in Europe, we'll be playing a minimum of 48 games this season. So that is one game of the Carabao, one game of the FA Cup, 8 league phase games in the Europa or Conference League, wherever we end up, in addition to the 38 games that we'll play in the Premier League. And that's not including the Community Shield either. It's not including any friendlies or anything like that. So, we're going to need a lot of players. And I think I'm just a bit surprised by it because of the way the squad rules work in both the Premier League and Europe, he doesn't count towards our squad limits. So in Europe, you have 2 lists, and list B is basically any player who is under 21 or under. So I believe the catchment will be anyone born on or after the 1st of January 2004 can be in that list B, and you can have as many people in that list as you want. And also, they need to have played for the club for at least 2 years between the ages of 2 consecutive years, or 3 years if they've been on loan, between the ages of 15 and 21, or the season that they turn 21, which Matias Fernandez, he counts as that. So in that sense, I'm surprised that we're not considering for that option, because he's not taking away anything in that sense from someone who can go into that list A. With list A, you can only have 25 players. And it's the same in the Premier League as well. effectively they have a list A and a list B. They just don't call it that. So your list A would be like your normal squad that you would your 25-person squad, and then list B would be anyone who is under 21 or under 21 at the beginning of the season or whatever. So if you take last year's rules and apply it to this year, again, it'd be the same. Anyone born on or after the 1st of January 2004 will be that player. However, there are some pros. He will probably get more minutes in a championship, which would boost his confidence, boost his physicality, which maybe is also another thing that he has worked a lot on. He's definitely a lot bulkier now than he was before. And obviously that's good for us. And if he's a long-term project, he's still only 21. By the time he comes back next year, could argue he's still only 22. He'll have years with us to get to that next level. And if he does it quickly, we'll forget about this time of lacking of minutes and things like that. There were rumours that he might go to Coventry City, which I think would be a good team because they're a team who are in the race for the playoffs. He shouldn't go to anything less than a team who are in the hunt for the playoffs, in my opinion. He's good enough to play in the Premier League, let alone the Championship. In addition to that, Coventry work really well with youth. And in addition, I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, but Lampard does have a history of bringing youth through. Demonstrated that at Chelsea, demonstrates that at Coventry City. I mean, they have 5 players this season who started the season 23 or under, who have got more than 900 minutes. And then in addition to that, he plays with 3 forward positions that França could play in. So whether that would be on the left, where they've kind of flitted between Haji Wright and Ephraim Mason Clark, or whether in the middle they put him there instead of Ridoni, or on the right with Sakamoto. So, I think whilst Coventry are the rumoured team, at the same time, if it's not them, it would need to be someone for me who fits that criteria. But I can see the pros and cons. Personally, I wouldn't do it because I think we need the depth this season. But, I can see why it would happen. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of Transfer Weekly. And have a good day.
Yes, guys, I am back from my paternity leave, so hopefully I'll be back in every single episode of Transfer Weekly from now onwards. But if there's anything to say that I am a new father now, it is this lack of a trim. I'm looking homeless, but I'm still repping Palace, and I'm here to talk to you about Mr. Johan Bakayoko. He is a 22-year-old Belgian right winger who currently plays for PSV Eindhoven. He's actually a player that I've been looking into and looking for us to buy potentially the second that we knew that Michael Olise was leaving to go to Bayern Munich, and even potentially a little bit further before that, for maybe potentially when we was actually going and looking at buying Michael Olise himself. The Michael Olise comparisons aren't going to stop there. I just thought I'd let you know now because they are very similar types of player, but there are some extremely key differences which sets him apart from Michael Olise. So he is a left-footed right winger who loves to cut in and shoot. He's very technically gifted and skillful with the ball when it is necessary. The main thing that he likes to do is when he cuts in, he shoots, and that is the main thing he likes to do. He averages 2 shots per 90 in every game that he played so far this season, and he's got an absolute wand of a left foot. He's great at passing with it, he's great at crossing with it, and he's great at shooting with it. He's really good at wrapping it to the far post, he's good at dragging it into the near post, and he's very good at hitting the ball with a lot of power and not actually having too much backlift, so you are able to take some goalkeepers completely off guard because of how strong his shots are from not much start-up. The thing that makes him a little bit more versatile potentially and a little bit more utility in his play is that he has actually got use of his right foot as well. He can dribble with his right foot, he can pass with his right foot, he can shoot with his right foot, and he can cross with it. So he is very both-footed, but he definitely prefers that left foot. His body shape when he's dribbling is quite unique. It's quite similar to Eze, where he's very square on when he dribbles at you, which makes it really easy for him to feint one way and go the other way, and it's really easy for him to change directions because he's good with both feet. He's able to go both ways, and because of his body shape and how he runs with the ball, it makes him very hard to anticipate, and defenders just hate playing against him. They hate playing against him in the Dutch league, and they hate him in the Champions League because he is currently playing Champions League football. Another part to his game is simply his pace. He is blisteringly fast. Just for a little bit of context, Ismail Sarr, who's quite easily the fastest player in our squad, maybe a little bit faster than Maxence Lacroix. Hot take, I know, but Sarr has got a top speed registered of 22.62 miles per hour, but Bakayoko, his top speed is 20.13. Yes, it is 2 miles an hour slower, but at that kind of speed, I think that it's quite impressive because Bakayoko gets up to that speed really quickly and maintains it. I'm not saying Sarr takes forever to get that fast, but in football, it's the first 5 yards, and Bakayoko's got an incredible first 5 yards, and he's actually got the legs on top of it to keep it going. But the difference between Sarr and him is that Sarr will kick the ball and then run onto it, whereas Bakayoko will take loads of tiny little touches as he runs forward at speed, and that allows him to be a little bit more nimble, a little bit more manoeuvrable, and it allows him to go both ways and change direction very quickly when he's dribbling the ball at such a high rate of speed. Finally, he is very, very physical. If you look at his body shape, he's very muscular. He's not the tallest guy in the world, but he is very strong. He's good at shielding the ball. He's great at using his body to feint one way and go another way. He's really good at rolling people. He's really good at holding up the ball as well, which is something that, Glasner does like Ismail Sarr to do at some points in games. It also allows him to help out when defending. He's able to go shoulder to shoulder with these wingers that are attacking, and he's able to go shoulder to shoulder with some of the centre-backs that he's going up against. He's very strong. He's got a very low centre of gravity. He's very good at manoeuvring how he is, and very good at keeping control of the ball and using his body to protect the ball and use it to his advantage. Like I said earlier, we have been linked with him over the last few years. Like I said, when we bought Michael, when Michael left, and even in this summer, he was the option for if Ebere Eze was to leave. Honestly, I don't know why that was an option, why we didn't actually maybe pursue that a little bit more, but I think I know why, and I'll tell you later. But I thought that if it was going to be a replacement, I thought it would have been an Elise replacement because of how similar he is, left-footed right winger, Eze's on the left, right-footed left winger, two cutting in people, but, it is what it is. It is reported that Bournemouth and Arsenal are inquiring about his services, and it is also reported that it is a £17 million fee, which is an outrageously low fee for someone with this much quality. I think the fee is so low because his contract ends in 2026, so after this season, he's only got 1 year left, and to me, it looks like he's got no intention of signing that new deal. He wants a Premier League move, and to be fair, right now, if you look at those two teams, Bournemouth, they haven't got any European football whatsoever, and they seem to be selling some of their best players. Huijsen's gone to Real Madrid, and it looks like Zabani's going to PSG, so that's two of their main centre-backs leaving potentially. And also at Arsenal, is he going to play over Saka? Probably not. The only time he'll get in there is if he gets injured, and to be fair, Saka had a bit of a freak injury against us in the season, and I don't think that will be happening again. To be fair to him, he is consistently very good. In the 2024-25 season, he got 12 goals, 3 assists in 47 games, which was a bit of a low season, which shows he's definitely got the goals. In 23-24, he got 14 goals, 14 assists in 48 games, which shows, once again, he's played a whole season without any injuries, and in that season, he's got loads of goals and loads of assists. He is an elite player when it comes to goals and assists, and he can translate that kind of performance into the Champions League, which to me shows he can do it in the Europa League with us next season, and with his physicality, he could definitely do it in the Premier League. 1 year left on this deal, that's probably why the price is so low. But if the price is that low, if it is £17 million, what an outrageous fee, and honestly, I don't know why we don't go all in to get him for that kind of money. Thank you for listening, and, hopefully I've convinced you about Johan Bakayoko.
Yes, people, it's Nate here, and I'm here to talk to you about Middlesbrough midfielder Hayden Hackne. So, who is Hayden Hackne, and why should Crystal Palace sign him? Well, Hayden Hackne is an English professional midfielder who plays for Middlesbrough in the Championship, and he played 43 times last season, scoring 5 times and assisting 3 times. In terms of his overall profile, he can play as a 6, he can play as an 8, and he can play on the wing, but ideally you want him playing in that 6, so he'd be perhaps arguably a future-proof replacement for the likes of Will Hughes, or more than likely Jefferson Lerma, as both Lerma and Hackney are right-footed. in regards to his style of play and what best suits him, he's quite athletic. A lot of people in the championship rate him highly. I think a lot of clubs will be interested in him. And of course, we are one of those clubs that have probably taken a look at him and thought he might be yet another player we can pluck from the championship and bring to the Premier League. Now, in terms of how much is it going to cost us to sign Hayden Hackney, his value on transfer market indicates about 12 million euro, which when you convert it to pounds, it works out at just under 11 million. So it's actually quite a cheap deal to complete, but obviously you'd expect Middlesbrough will try to inflate that price as much as possible if they are to receive a bid that they believe could price him away from the Riverside. Now, do I think this deal is possible? I think it would depend on what Oliver Glasner is looking for, but I do think this fits the profile of what we go for when it comes to young English talent. Obviously, we've seen it with the likes of Eze, we've seen it with Elise, we've seen it with Esse, we've seen it with Adam Wharton. We've got a very good model in identifying young talent in the Championship and bringing them to the Premier League. So, you know, there's every possibility that this deal could actually happen. If I'm honest, I think if this signing were to happen, it would be a very smart, future-proof signing, because Jefferson Lerma and Will Hughes are still very much, you know, key players, but we do need to look at bringing in, you know, players to replace them, or ideally take over from them, and have a bit of squad depth, particularly for this season, should we be cleared to play in Europe. So if the club do pursue Hayden Hackney, I'm all for it. It definitely gets my seal of approval. And yeah, that's it. I'm not really going to try and stat pad this to the point where I'm just talking absolute waffle. If you think Hayden Hackney will be a good fit, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.
Shout out to Michael Kudre, who's given us a player recommendation, and that player is Evan Gasson from Nice. Now, the 23-year-old is an Ivorian international who plays as a forward. Now, he doesn't necessarily play centre forward. He can also play as an inside forward as well. Obviously, at the beginning of this season, he did start off as a centre forward, but then got moved into a more natural position. Now, last season, he played a total of 33 games, scoring 12 goals and having 9 assists. Now, the reason why this transfer rumour has come into fruition, potentially for us, is the fact that Nice, who are also owned by Ineos, have seemed to run into a bit of financial trouble. So we'll have to wait and see how this one plays out. Now, Gasson is about 6'2", and he's got a bit of a build to him, you know, and that's the reason why I think teams have assumed that he's a centre forward, but naturally he's not that. He's definitely an inside forward, and obviously where we play with 2 inside forwards, that's going to suit Oliver Glasner and our system to a T. And it was Graham Bailey from TBR Football who reported that we are one of quite a few host of teams that are interested in Gasson and trying to sign him this for next season. However, the likelihood is, as reported, is that Fenerbahce are like the most likely destination, but Gasson is not ruling out the chance to move to the Premier League. Other teams involved are the likes of Spurs, Wolves, and I believe Leeds as well are interested in trying to get him for next season. And Transfermarkt are currently valuing him around 25 million euros, which works out to be around 21 million pounds, which I think is great value for money. When we look at his obvious attributes, dribbling is definitely one of it. So it's a big strength of his. He can run with the ball, and he takes on players. He's got very, very good footwork, which is great. So when you compare him to like an Ismail Assar, who is a very more direct runner, Gasson is also direct, but like I said, his footballing manipulation is a bit better than I would say Assar is. And there was an interesting stat that his top speed ain't too far off Ismail Assar as well, so it shows that he's quick on the ground as well. Other aspects to his game is that he can drop off deep to try and pick up the ball, and obviously then decide to dribble from that. But he's also a player that likes to run in behind as well. And when you think of the likes of what we've had Nketiah, who's tried to do that, it gives more arsenal to our squad if we so happen to sign him. He's able to finish with both feet, and he's not too bad from a header, especially from set pieces, because he's scored a few goals. And one thing, obviously, I guess for him playing as a striker at times, his movement in and around the box is pretty decent. The only noticeable weakness is sometimes his control lets him down at times, whether that's him running too fast for his own good, or even just when he drops off deep and not being used to having his back to defenders and his back to goal, that sometimes could play an effect on him as well. So no, he definitely looks like a player who definitely suits our system. And when you think about the fact that you got the likes of Edouard, who may or not get sold, França, he's rumoured to go out on loan, and obviously the growing speculation regarding Ebbs, I think Gasson will definitely strengthen the squad, but he's also a player who would not want to just sit on the bench. He'll be one who wants to start for us. And as you look at his heat map, you can tell he's physically active, especially down that right-hand side, but he gets around the pitch plenty of times because he wants to impact the game. So that brings Transfer Weekly episode 4 to an end. Of all the players that we've discussed, let us know in the comment section below which player you'd like, which player you think will suit our system, and why they will suit our system. And if there's any other players, like I said earlier, that you'd like us to discuss, please drop it in the comment section below, and we will look to talk about them in the upcoming episodes. Other than that, like, share, subscribe as always, guys. Thank you for your support, and as always, up the Palace. Eagles.